honey, my coach, that you and Okit Hoppy. When he shows you each other that, shows you can not tell Hidapi. Naku, when not Hagapi, then on keep it that copy. Tiwai we open Rikiana, na papik, that when hell. At one time, all of this land was ours, but all the timber area along the Missouri River we cherished. But I understand that there is going to be a dam who will take some of this away from us. Beside that, there's be about 80-some families who will move out of the bottom area and going up on the top of the rise due to the flooding of the Fort Randall Reservoir. After my first discharge from the military in 1946, I became the tribal leader of this, and Fort Thompson was a beautiful location. And the reason for that, all of the agency, the Bureau employees reside in the square. And there were stores, 2 stores. There was a LaCroix's, and then there was Went store were there, and I started working for the government as a groundskeeper, I guess, and we did everything. But then at the same time, I was the first tribal chairman, and the difficulty was the government. The Corps of Engineers and the Bureau of Indian Affairs went before Congress to tell them that what Pick Sloan plan was to do was to inundate thousands of acres of Indian lands, but they never told the Bureau of Indian Affairs or never told the tribes that this was going to be done. So when I came into as a tribal leader, that was one of my first big jobs that I encountered, was to go before Congress for 4 years in a row to try to get the just compensation for the people and for the people who lost their homes in the bottom land. And in so doing, also, the tribe did not have a constitution and bylaws. The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934 helped the tribes to form their constitution and bylaws and getting a form of government on the reservation. But the Crow Creek tribe did not accept the Wheeler-Howard Act. And therefore, it was about 10 years afterward, my job was to go before Congress to get an administrative authority to form the government on the Crow Creek Reservation. So if you look in the Constitution and bylaws, the old copy, you'll see that I am the tribal chairman. And of course, there's been a lot of amendments in the years between. So things are not going like it should. And but there's been a drastic change on the reservation, and that's why I encourage young people to get all the education they can, because I went to Dakota Wesleyan University as a tribal leader, and I got to go back a little bit, because when I came back, I had my mother to take care of. So I had to make a living, so I went into cattle ranching, and the government helped me to get started, and that'll be a few miles north of the Christ Church, the Episcopal Cemetery. I'll point it out to you as we go driving on there. And that I had to do, so, but it was tough. It was tough work. But at the same time, the administrative officer of the Bureau of Indian Affairs said, you should go take advantage of your GI Bill, because the GI Bill is going to end in the coming July. So that was when I said, well, I've got to sell my cattle and get prepared. So that was in the fall of 50, well, 49, I guess, yeah. No, it's 50. and they helped me. The government really helped me to arrange these things. And then I sold the cattle out, and then I was invited to go to Dakota Wesleyan. I didn't have a car, so my friend and neighbor said you could take my car and go to the college. So I did, and went to Dakota Wesleyan, looked that over, and decided it was a good place, and I agreed to enroll there. And so, but I went 3 years, summers and all, and got my degree, the BA degree, and I think it was the best thing I ever done in my life, was to get that college education, because as I told the people at the first meeting about 4 or 5 years ago, that I said I've held some of the best jobs in the Dakotas, because I worked for the Bureau of Indian Affairs on Standing Rock, and then I worked for the 3 governors of South Dakota, and then as a tribal leader, doing all these things for the tribe. This wouldn't be possible if I didn't have the college education. So I encourage the young people to go on to school, go on and get the best education you can. Now my children typify what I am saying. My oldest son is one of the top Bureau of Indian Affairs employees at Phoenix, Arizona. And then I got another son at Albuquerque who is an architect. And then I got another son at Lincoln, Nebraska, who is a police officer. He's ready to retire, but he's too young to retire. And in fact, he's going to call me when I get home. He tried to call us when we was at the cafe in Pier before we left today. But and my daughters have master's degrees. Jana, who is fully handicapped, is probably better qualified than a lot of our social workers. She has a micro-sociology degree from University of Nebraska, and Mary has almost finished her master's degree out of Wichita, Kansas. So they're well educated, and they're making their own way. And my son Joe, of course, he's a college graduate. He's working on his master's, and he's a principal of the high school at Crow Creek. And I think that typifies what I stress to young people today. And with that, I hope that I've given them a message that they can take and tell their children. Thank you.